Hare Krishna, this is Dasi at bhakticareblogspot.com. I just wanted to take an opportunity to do a little reflecting on some of the Shastric support for the work I do as a chaplain, what inspires me to do this work of being an interfaith chaplain and a trainer of chaplains. One of the stories that I'm very fond of and I take guidance from is the story of Lord Chaitanya's listening for 7 days to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. It's a really wonderful story. If you haven't read it, please go to the Chaitanya Charitamrita and read the whole story of this meeting. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was a Vedantic scholar. He was a monist. He wasn't a deist or a bhakti or a personalist. And he was very learned and established as a scholar. And he was attracted to Lord Chaitanya. He was a young sannyasi who he in some ways felt was misguided because he didn't do a lot of spouting of Vedantic text, and he thought he was going to teach him something. And so he started to expound on his monist philosophy. And Lord Chaitanya very, very humbly and very, very sweetly sat and listened, and not just for a few moments. He listened for 1 day and 2 days and 3 days and a whole week, listening to someone talk basically at him without interrupting him or interjecting any of his own views. And I take instruction from that because as a conditioned soul, I have noticed within myself when I feel someone who is arrogantly talking at me, I have the tendency to go away. Either I physically excuse myself and go away, or I internally leave the place by thinking about something else, zoning out, tuning out. I can be meditating on what am I going to say as a rebuttal to what they're saying, how I'm going to put them down. I could be just internally judging them and criticizing them and thinking about how I don't agree and why I don't agree. And in this process, I am not at all connecting with this person. But what I see in Lord Chaitanya's exchange or encounter with this person, he doesn't do that. He doesn't try to shut him up. He doesn't talk over him. He doesn't interrupt him. He doesn't exhibit any kind of anger or disgust with him. And he just listens and stays connected and stays humble and curious. He doesn't even disagree exactly. He just says at the end of 7 days when Sarvabhauma says to him, okay, you haven't said anything all this time, and I'm wondering, what do you think about what I've just said? Please give me some feedback. And Lord Chaitanya, he doesn't say you're all wrong. He doesn't say you're an arrogant scholar and I don't agree. He just said, I don't really understand anything you've said. It doesn't make sense to me, and here's why. He spoke in the first person. He didn't speak for everyone. He didn't go global by assuming that the whole world is thinking like he does, and what he was saying is the absolute truth. He was just speaking from his own personal realization and his personal experience. And after he was finished, Lord Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya could understand that Lord Chaitanya's realization was far superior than his own personal understanding. So the instruction I get from that story as a chaplain is, and I've had this experience bedside with people who are arrogant and they think they know, and they are struggling out loud to talk about their theology and their understanding of life. And I can just listening and being interested and being curious without being threatened by their views being different from my views or being pressured inside of me to try and make them believe what I believe. has a transformative effect. There's not a greater gift you can give a person than to listen with an open and loving heart and trying to understand the heart of another person. It is absolutely transformative. It is healing, and as we've seen in the case of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it actually is probably one of the most profound preaching techniques that there is. St. Francis used to say, preach all the time, and if necessary, use words. And by that, I think he meant preach by example. Let your life speak. You should be the change that you wish to see in the world, so that when people see the way you move and the way you work and the attitude that you express yourself with, they get it. This person does what they do with love. And I think that was Lord Chaitanya's mission and message, to preach by example, to be a living example of pure love for God. Thank you for watching Bhakti Care. This is Rambu Dasi. Hare Krishna.